Obviously, the Epstein Files is a huge thing right now that it seems like it's causing some defection over in MAGA world.
Some people are, I guess, finally realizing that they've been duped.
All of his supporters know he's a sex offender. He's bragged about being a sex offender.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
you are one.
All right, I was going to say that. But it's true.
And they know and they don't care.
These people are grifters. Like, they don't have any morals. Like, they don't care.
Democrats will not stand by a Democrat who does something that we consider like not in line with our values.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Welcome back to the Boredwalk podcast. It's Tess and Meredith, kind of a throwback episode. We haven't done one with just the two of us in a really long time. We used to do them more often. We're also not in our usual space due to some scheduling snafus. We're doing a remote recording, but we'll make it work.
Yeah. Get to see a little intimate view. Maybe some cats will run around if you're watching. So
they might.
Pretty exciting stuff.
There's a few dramas unfolding right now. There's obviously the Epstein Files is a huge thing right now that pretty much everyone is talking about. And it's been one of the more interesting things to watch because it seems like it's causing some defection over in MAGA world, which we love to see it.
Yeah, there's like a big divide happening right now, it seems like, where some people are, I guess, finally realizing that they've been duped, which I don't know. I don't know why it took anyone that long to figure that out. There's obviously still people who are like, no way, like the liberals are faking the list or whatever. As of this morning, Elon's back on criticizing Trump. I feel like he obviously was like, my big bomb is that Trump's in the Epstein Files, and then he backtracked on that, and now he's back at being like, this is a cover-up, and like he's trying to distract everyone. The whole thing with this is insane. Trump is like a shockingly bad liar, I think, is another thing that I keep watching this and I'm just like, dude, everybody knows you're lying. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he keeps being like, well, I don't need to release the list. It's like not even interesting. Like, there's no point, even though he ran on the idea that he was going to release this list and like out all these liberals. And now he's backtracking on that, obviously, because he's on the list. But like, I'm like, why'd you run on that? Why are you such a bad liar? Like, what are you doing?
And the story keeps changing, which is the other thing that's crazy. Like, I've never seen, that I can think of in my lifetime, a Democrat politician where the story changes. Like, the facts of the story change so frequently. First, like, there's a list and we're going to release it. Then there is no list. The list doesn't exist. Then it's, maybe there's a list, but, like, we're not going to release it. Like, pick a story and stick to it.
There's a list, but we're not going to release it. And honestly, even if we did, it's so boring, you wouldn't even want to read it. Like, I feel like
then show it to us.
His current thing, it's like, I'll decide if it's boring. Show it to me. So that's going on right now. There's obviously also with the Epstein drama, which I think many people suspected before, that the video footage of him in prison was altered, edited. And now, you know, they're like, oh, we're finding out that it was. And it's like, yeah, no. Like, I don't know. I'm like surprised this is news because I thought we already knew this. But did people not?
Yeah, it's bizarre to me because I assumed as far back as 2016 that all of his supporters know he's a sex offender. I mean, he's an adjudicated sex offender. He's bragged about being a sex offender. I just assume like they know and they don't care. They're fine with it. And so I don't even understand why all of a sudden they're upset about it now. He's been bragging about this entire time. He's been saying disgusting things forever. He's talked about wanting to date his daughter. He's talked about walking in on underage pageant contestants. He's talked about assaulting women. He's been you know, an adjudicated sex offender. Like, there's no question that he's a sex offender. There's no question that he tries to perv on young girls.
His entire campaign with the grab him by the pussy line.
Yeah.
This
so
was how
it's his brand.
Started.
Yeah.
Like, we know.
We've been aware of this, and for them to suddenly act like they're clutching their pearls about it is bizarre. So I don't quite get why. And then there are some of them So they're the ones that are clutching their pearls, of course. Then there are other ones that are like, well, Jesus calls us to forgive, so even if he did it, like, we would forgive him. And while, like, that's
gross.
Oh, it's disgusting, but it is more consistent. Like, it's more in line with what I would expect them to say.
Yes.
It's the pearl clutching that's kind of throwing me for a loop. I'm like, why do you care all of a sudden? You don't actually care. What are you doing?
No, I feel like the people who are suddenly caring, or the people like the Joe Rogans and the people who are kind of backtracking and being like, what was I duped? I'm like, you're just now realizing that this is a sinking ship and it doesn't make sense for you to put like your money in it. Like it's more financially beneficial for you to say, oh, never mind, like I was tricked. Like, that's all it is. I'm like, these people are grifters. Like, they don't have any morals. Like, they don't care. They're just in
The
it for
influencers,
themselves.
for sure,
Yeah.
are like that. The rank and file supporters are the ones that I'm just like, what are you talking about? I assume that you knew and you were fine with it because it's been public information forever. It's very bizarre. We always talk about how they're in a cult, which they absolutely are in a cult, but they try to like do that whole like kindergarten, like, no, it's not me, it's you, it's in a cult. Like, Democrats aren't loyal to Democrat politicians this way. Like, if a Democrat politician was caught being a sex offender, all the Democrats would have, and this happened for like less. Like, Democrats will turn on a Democrat caught for this behavior and less.
Everyone, I mean, not everyone, but like Andrew Cuomo, like, didn't get that primary. Like, if any Democrats are on that list, which I'm sure they are, like, I am not interested in supporting those people who like shocked me, even if it was a person that I like respected and really liked and had no idea they were going to be on that list. If they were on it, okay, bye, go to jail.
Al Franken got drummed out of Washington over like a photograph that was in poor taste. Like, that's how much Democrats will not stand by a Democrat who does something that we consider like not in line with our values. Like, Democrats are not loyal to our politicians if they act in a way that offends us. Whereas like Republicans will swallow anything.
Exactly. It's one of the reasons why we are unsuccessful frequently. But
True.
at least we aren't blindly following a sex offender. So
True. I mean, yes, sometimes Democrats go too far with it. Like, people are, kind of flipping on Gavin Newsom, our governor. Like, they liked him and then they didn't like him because he said some things they didn't like, and he had some podcast guests they didn't like. And now he's kind of gained favor again because he's standing up to ICE. I mean, just as an adult, I understand people aren't perfect. Public figures aren't perfect. Like, I expect them to be mostly, if I'm going to vote for them, I want them to be mostly in line with what I want to see out of them. But you got to be reasonable.
Newsom's goal is to run for president, and I don't think that any like sane person does, like, personally. But like, as long as he's mostly fighting for what I believe in, I'm good with it. But like,
that's how I feel about it too.
Yeah.
But obviously, if he got caught being a sex offender immediately, like, no, we're not with you anymore.
Yeah.
There's some red lines we don't cross. But yeah, that's one of the things that's like very different from Democrats versus Republicans, and something that can even sometimes be frustrating for me as a Democrat to see other Democrats be like too purist about things to our detriment.
And I do think Newsom's doing a good job standing up to ICE, but like, yeah, he's done a lot of things that like pissed me off, like the trans comments that he made. I was like, dude, seriously. And like, so like, would he be my top choice for president? Probably not. But also, I'm glad that he's standing up to ICE. So like,
yeah, he's not my first choice, but if he gets the nomination, I'm going to vote for him. Like,
right,
he doesn't offend me to such a degree that I couldn't vote for him. I voted for him for governor. So, and he does some things that I do like as governor, like right now with the ICE situation, which, yeah, we should get into. You got JD Vance calling California a lawless hellhole. That's what the Republicans like to paint California as, yet they come on vacation here.
Yeah, he went to Disneyland with his family. A lot of annoying things about that. First of all, like, don't criticize the state and then come on vacation here. There's a Disney World in Florida. Why are you here? Also, the resort they stayed at is the hotel. It's the nicest one in Disneyland. And they like kicked people out of their rooms for them to stay there. Like, people who had plans. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that's just like a dick move. I know that obviously he's the vice president. He's not going to stay on the floor with random people, but I'm like, why didn't you plan? I don't know. Like that whole thing is annoying. And then he, was walking through Disneyland and there's all these videos of people booing him. And this has riled up some discourse, specifically with the right. And I guess centrists who are sympathizers, and I think secretly right wing who are like, oh, well, he was there with his kids. Like, you shouldn't be booing him while he's with his family. I'm like, no, we should be booing him more. Like, I was like, if I had a Disneyland pass, because I don't have randomly go to Disneyland money, but like, if I was one of those people who like held a like annual pass, I would have like been like, all right, I guess I'm going to Disneyland. I got someone to boo. Like I was like, where are the people coming? And people did to boo him.
Again, with the double standards, like it's always, oh, they have a child, think of their children. But if it's somebody that they don't like, they have no problem saying terrible things to the person in front of their kids about their kids. Like the way they have treated
literally being kidnapped in front of their children and people are saying horrible things to them. Like, I do not care. I hope that JD Vance's kids are like, wow, maybe my dad's an evil person. I hope that they turn on him someday. I cannot believe his wife. I cannot just believe any of this. And also we learned that he runs like a little loser. So that was another great video that came from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like with their pearl clutching over like, oh, don't boo him. And then the other thing that people are getting all mad about is people doxing these ICE agents, which has become a really popular thing for people to do because they're showing up masked, but people are trying to unmask them. People are, taking note of their license plate number and finding their contact information and like cross-referencing whatever, like identifying things they can find about these people and doxing them online. And there's tons of people like actually the Department of Homeland Security released a thing being like, we need to stop, making ICE unsafe. And it's just like, no, what they're doing is up.
They're making our communities unsafe. They're federal employees. They're being paid with our tax dollars. They work for us. In what world do you work for us and we can't even know who you are when you're being paid with our tax dollars? No.
Like, say it with your full chest. Show your face.
So The Atlantic recently reported that morale at ICE is incredibly low. People are leaving despite, exactly, correct. all the money they're getting, all of the approval from Donald, it's not enough. Doing terrible things is, I guess, having some impact on the ones that have a shred of a moral compass. And for the ones that are just completely self-interested, being constantly hated by the public is also taking a toll on them. Good. Don't do the job. Don't do bad things. And you won't have to deal with public opinion not being on your side. Like, what you're doing is gross. It's unpopular. Don't do it. There's also some reporting about just how unpopular ICE is, because I think it's important. We hear all the time from Donald supporters that they're the majority. They're absolutely not the majority, never have been, are not currently. They're only getting less popular as people spend more time under this regime. There's a few different public opinion polls out. Reuters has him down on immigration at 41%. Gallup and Quinnipiac have it around 35 to 40, depending on which of them you ask. So majority overall on immigration really don't like what's happening. And then when you dig further into the stats on public opinion around this stuff, there's only, and this is across the board, so Democrats, Independents, Republicans, 28% support for workplace raids, so very unpopular. 30% support for arrests carried out like military operations, again, very unpopular. 38% support for allowing them to wear masks. There's not above water on anything, but some of the really interesting numbers are switch on immigration being a good thing in the American public. Gallup did a recent poll. 79% of Americans think that immigration is a positive thing, and that's up from 64% a year ago. So Americans are more supportive of immigration now than they were a year ago.
That's great.
Some other interesting stats. Only 30% want immigration to decrease, whereas it was 55% a year ago. So people don't actually want less immigration now that they've seen what happens with that.
Yeah.
Only 38% support deporting all the undocumented immigrants. 78% support a pathway to citizenship, which is up from 70% for people that have been here. 85% support people who were brought as children, which is up from 81%. So there's like incredible support for giving people pathways to citizenship if they're coming here and contributing and being law abiding, which, like, no kidding, there should be.
Yeah.
The other thing that was so interesting was even among Republicans, 71% of them want people who came as children to be able to get citizenship, and 59% of them support people who are here and following the law being given a path to citizenship. So even among Republican voters, they don't like this either. No one likes this. It's so unpopular. The only people that really like it are like the extreme racists. That's it.
Yeah.
Which is, thankfully, a very small percentage of the public. So they're constantly trying to tell us, oh, we're the majority. Absolutely not. They're the majority.
No.
We are the majority. Those of us here at Boredwalk and our audience, we're the majority, not them.
Yeah.
We need to vote. We need to, keep working on the problem, but they aren't the majority. So we shouldn't be discouraged when they're trying to tell us what their opinions are popular. They absolutely not. The other bit of good news that came out is there's that injunction going on right now. Some U.S. district judge told them no more indiscriminate raids in L.A. You cannot just come through L.A. and just snatch people based on where they work or what they look like. I mean, it's already illegal, and they just were told you have to stop doing it, which is in direct contradiction with what Tom Homan said a couple weeks ago when he was, I believe, on Fox News, when he was telling them that the DHS is allowed to profile people based on their appearance or their accent or how they're dressed. Like, he was saying all this is totally legal and legitimate.
Look, people need to understand, ICE officers and Border Patrol, they don't need probable cause based on their location, their occupation, their physical appearance, their actions.
And then the judge was like, it's absolutely not. It's profiling. It's very illegal. And then he had to walk it back. And now LA Taco, which is a local media outlet, and one I really like and recommend if you want to know what's going on in Los Angeles, they do a great job. They have been reporting that these indiscriminate raids are down, which is better for public safety and important for public safety. I personally haven't felt safe going out. Like, just, I'm a U.S. citizen. My parents were born here. My grandparents were born here, like very much a U.S. citizen. And I don't feel safe going out because of the indiscriminate raids.
Well, it's just like not something that you want to come across. It's very scary. I mean, there's just immigrants all over this city. So it really feels like, especially like, it feels like there's no part of the city, or it feels like every part of the city could potentially get hit. But like, I know both of us live in neighborhoods that are like heavy, like immigrant populations. And yeah, there's just like certain local businesses that like I see or frequent on a regular basis that I'm like worried for the people who work there. And some of them have temporarily closed. And I'm like, I don't want this to happen to anybody anywhere. And I really don't want it happening. Like, it's scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And we although now that they're under an injunction, at least here in Southern California, we might see less of it, but we have seen so many instances of U.S. citizens being snatched indiscriminately and held for days, which is, they're getting injured, they're deeply traumatized, it's really affecting their lives. There was that raid in Camarillo where a U.S. veteran was snatched. He was just at work. He wasn't protesting. He wasn't doing anything. He was just being brown at work, and he was taken and, missed his child's birthday party because of it. He's suing now. So I'm glad he's suing, and I hope, he gets paid and everything, but it just shouldn't happen. There was that woman.
Shouldn't happen.
Yeah, Andrea Velez was trying to go to work in downtown LA. Same thing. Like, she's just walking to work and grabbed for being Latina. So that's why I don't feel safe going out. I mean, I know I look a little ethnically ambiguous. I've heard it my whole life. So I know that, like, I would be more of a target than, say, my husband, who's, like, very pale and has blue eyes. And so, like, if someone's going to the grocery store right now, like, I'm going to send him, not me, because I'm afraid, like, what if somebody comes to the grocery store and they think that I don't look like I belong there, even though I sound obviously very American? I don't want to take the risk.
They just, like, don't care. And, yeah, they're, like, attacking people in the most, like, benign places where you're just like, these are just people trying to live their life, and you can't tell if someone's a citizen or not. And even if they aren't, they're literally not committing a crime. Like, they're just living. Like, what are you doing? These aren't like the violent criminals that they claim that they're getting,
I mean, I think it's interesting because they did talk about, in the campaign, they did talk about mass deportations. And I think that their voters did not really understand what they meant by that. But they also heard that they were going to remove criminals. And I think they conflated these two things, and they're not the same thing at all. And now people are finding out, like, oh, when they said mass deportations, what they meant is, like, just anybody not white is really who they're trying to remove from the country. It's the goal. And that's not as popular as they expected it to be. With the racists, sure, but like the majority of people are not into that.
No, because this affects everyone's day-to-day life. Like it's friends, it's family members, it's people in your local community, it's your coworkers. Like it's just people living their life. Like it affects everybody. It's so messed up.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's also I pulled because we usually like to read a little comment. So let's get into that because this is a good segue into this comment from this person. Someone commented on a video that we made. We were talking about not being supporters of fascism and what the government's doing and talking about all the reasons we don't like it. We talked about the concentration camps and the discrimination against immigrants, but we also made reference to what's going on with the economy and trade because the trade policy does adversely impact the economy. And this person commented, needless trade wars is the academic bloodless reason not to like the administration. Gulags and kidnappings are the most infuriating things the regime is doing. FDT. And I agree with them. It is the most infuriating thing for sure. It's number one for me. And we do talk about it in the video. But I would not describe the trade wars as exactly bloodless either, because although it is not as immediately violent as beating somebody up in the street, it has really serious effects on the average American, like citizens, all of us, because it increases cost of living. And so you have people that, they do belong here and they are citizens and they're just trying to get by. And when things get more expensive, well, now it's not bloodless. Now they're trying to decide, like, can I afford my medication? Can I afford to feed my family? Can I afford my rent? Because when all of the costs go up because importation goes up and as a result, the cost of goods goes up on everything, it can kill people and probably will.
It will, yeah.
Yeah. So to say, like, the trade war is not going to hurt people and not going to kill people is indirectly, it absolutely will.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's just not getting a lot of press right now, but it is still very much a problem.
Well, people are really bad at, I think, comprehending indirect impacts of things. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, no, this is bad for, like, international relations or whatever. Like, there's, like, obvious immediate things, but it's like, yeah, but it it's the butterfly effect. Like, everything affects everything.
Yes.
And, yeah, it is going to kill people.
Same with all the deportations. Not only is it, like, going to hurt and kill the immigrants directly, but it also affects the economy because they are a huge part of the labor force. And so not having them here to contribute in terms of being consumers, being taxpayers.
Being consumers part is the thing that drives me. It makes me so mad when people discuss the economy, discuss immigration, discuss anything. I'm like, do you think that people are coming here and, like, not spending money? Like, that is how economies work. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, I think the Republicans' conspiracy to, like, defund and destroy public education over the last 40 years has really come home to roost in the last 10, and we're seeing the effects. And so, like, the lack of critical thinking skills, the lack of understanding the interconnectivity of all these issues among the public is making things worse. And we got here by not prioritizing public education over the last 40 years. This started with Reagan and just has continued ever since, and it's really hurt our society.
Yeah.
The other comment that I pulled two, because there's one, and they were sort of related but different. Another person commented that merch cheapens our brand. And again, it's like, you kind of like us, but don't. Kind of agree with us, but don't. Like, I'm assuming this person has seen our sketch comedy content, and they're like, they're comedy
must,
creators.
Like, think that came first. But even if it did, like, who cares? I don't know.
I notice a lot of conversation from people that seem to agree with us in our comment section around, like, basically not paying us. Like, either, like, you shouldn't charge too much for your products, and our products aren't crazy expensive, but, like, they want dollar store pricing out of us, or, like, you shouldn't be selling merch or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but we're working artists and we also have bills to pay. And if you want us to continue to entertain you and make art for you, like, we need to be paid for our time, so we have time to make things for you. So that's how we do that. There just seems to be a real disconnect on our side with, like, how any of that works. We get a lot of those kinds of critical comments about trying to make a living being artists.
I mean, I think most artists get that, and it's just like, I don't think that the average person understands the amount of time and work that goes into it, and that people actually do deserve as much money, the too much money that you think you're giving. It's probably not enough, honestly, for the amount of work that people are doing.
It's so true. And pretty much all art that consumers enjoy is commercial art, and they are all selling something, whether it is us or your favorite band, that song that you like so much, they're trying to sell you concert tickets. They're trying to sell you downloads or records, like, or, you know, t-shirts or whatever. But like, that's how that person makes money, so they can make another song that you like. Same thing at Boardwalk.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that sometimes with like big tours that go through, and there'll be like some people being like, oh, this is obviously just a cash grab for the band to make money. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, the band has to make money if you want them to make more art.
Do you want to see them live? If you don't, that's fine. But like, yeah, yes, it is so they can make money doing their job. Like, what? It's such a bizarre criticism.
It is so bizarre to me, and it seems to come mostly from our side of things, where there's this like criticism of like artists wanting to be paid for their work, but if you want us to make art for you, we do have to be paid for it, or we can't put our time on making art. We would have to go do something else to pay our bills.
It's like, we do exist in this society where you have to make money. Like, come on, you're living in this world as well. How does that not compute?
My best guess on where that stuff is coming from, and I don't think it's conscious on their part, is I think that there's a bit of like jealousy, for lack of a better word, that like someone else is making art as a career and maybe they wish they were, but they're not, and so they're mad about it, and so they're taking it out on people that are doing it without really understanding like what all is involved with being able to do it.
Yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe it's like, yeah, people tend to try to discourage people from pursuing art because they're like, oh, you'll never make any money doing it. And then maybe people are like, well, I was told that was the case, so you shouldn't make money. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a thing we see frequently from people commenting at us, and it's always frustrating to me, because I'm just like, do you want art in the world or not? If you don't,
Right.
then like, I guess don't support artists. But if you want to continue to enjoy art in the world, like,
That's the other
support
thing.
the
Like,
artists.
people get mad about it, and I'm just like, you know, you don't have to buy things.
True.
Like when people are like, oh, this artist, their concert, it's a cash grab. It's like, okay, then don't go to the concert. Then don't go if that bothers you so much. But like, it sounds like you really want to see them. You just want them to perform to you for free. Like, what do you?
Yeah, the expectation that we work for free is not a progressive idea, and does frustrate me when I see progressives trying to sell it as a progressive idea, because it's not.
Yeah.
Well, somebody who does get what we're doing, I'll read a review. We'll move on to a review from Kaylee Allen. She got our Whatever activity book, and she said, escape from the screens while trapped from an injury. I've been laid up with a broken ankle in the peak of summer, which left me trapped, literally and figuratively, doom scrolling in my recliner. This has been a nice refuge from the screens, and also gets me interacting with others while reading them crossword clues or having them help me with word scrambles. So I love that. Yeah, that is so great. I always love hearing from our customers, like how they're using our products and like what their experiences are, because we sell these things online. We don't get to meet our customers usually. And so we get to hear from them. It's always really fun to see like ways that they're using it in their lives and how it's making their lives better. The activity books have been so popular this summer, which I'm super happy about, but they've also been really hard to keep in stock. So Matt and I have been like hustling behind the scenes to make sure we don't run out of them. It's been very hard. And we're also almost done with the next one. So if you've been enjoying the activity books, the next one is going to be out soon. Yes, we are finishing the last couple of coloring pages. It is super cute. It's got a literary theme. So if you're a book lover, you love things like fairy tales, fables, this is going to be right up your alley. So we're excited about that.
Super excited.
I think our tradition, we should wrap up. We love to do a Delve Deck card or two at the end of an episode to reset our mood after complaining about the hellscape. Where should we go? Shallow? Deep? Middle?
Yeah, I like a light
Something
joy,
light?
something lighthearted.
All right, this is a good one because we work together. What happens at work that can make your work day a lot better?
Oh, I think that it's just like laughter. I love making each other laugh, and I feel like that's probably the best part of what like being in the office and like filming, and not only filming like comedy sketches, but like being on the podcast or filming the Delve Deck shorts or long form, like I feel like just making each other laugh throughout the day is easily the best part.
I love that. That's a lot of fun. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
For me, the thing that makes my workday better is if nothing that I like wasn't on my to-do list and schedule comes along and like interrupts my plans to like complete things. So if I have like 7 things on my to-do list for the day and I get to do all 7 of them because nobody like came in and like distracted me and asked me to do something that wasn't on the list, and I like get to finish my day having the 7 things ticked off the list, I'm like so happy about it.
I get that. I definitely feel that. Or like if I really, I think like maybe on work from home days, if I like really snap into a flow state, like you're able to, there's nothing distracting you and you're just like on it and you're like, oh, I can write a bunch right now, or like editing is coming super easy for me. And like, it's just like, yeah, let's brush through it. Like that feels really nice.
I love that too. Yeah. Writing a sketch that I know everyone's going to love before I show it to anybody else also is like so satisfying. I'm like, I know people, or designing a product that I know people are going to love, but like anything where I get to do something creative and before anyone sees it, I know it's going to be like a hit. Just the best feeling in the world.
It feels, because sometimes, I mean, and this is why artists, it's hard because sometimes it does feel like pulling teeth and you're like sitting there like, okay, I gotta think of something funny. And then other times it's like something just comes to you, and that's a great feeling.
It is a great feeling. And it's the one thing I hold on to with the rise of these people trying to be AI artists. Like, it's not real art, but they think they're going to like shortcut their way to things that I do or that you do. And they're never going to get that experience. The experience of you had this like great idea and you got to implement it and you got feedback from strangers. They were like, I love this. And that's so satisfying. And you can't get that satisfaction if you're not doing the work.
No, the work is part of the fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, this was a fun little episode with the two of us. Maybe we'll do it more often. But thank you, everybody, for listening and hanging out. We'll be back next week. We should have Gabe back. Ansley's on vacation, but she'll be back soon. And we'll bring more guests soon.
We'll have the whole crew back together again.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
Bye.
See you all. Bye.